Okay, so I got underneath here and inspected the front drive shaft before I pulled it, the U-joints, and I figured I'd go ahead and inspect the rear drive shaft before I pulled it. And I didn't think it was the rear drive shaft that the problem was. I thought it was the front, but if y'all look right in here, well, there's your problem. So there's my bad U-joint on the rear drive shaft. So instead of pulling that front one and doing all that, I'm going to replace this one first because this one's the only one that has play in it. I'm going to see if this fixes all my problems. If it does, I'm going to save that kit for another day. All right, let's get this pulled out.
Okay, so here's a little backstory what's going on here. So this is a CV drive shaft from Rough Country, the double cardigan drive shaft. And I bought it originally into the slip yoke eliminator for my TJ because my TJ didn't have a slip yoke eliminator when I did the 4-inch lift. So it's a great drive shaft. It's worked wonderful the time that I've had it. But whenever I did the 8.8 swap and I swapped out the Dana 35 for the 8.8, I had to get this adapter plate to go from this drive shaft to the flange on the axle shaft. So the process of pressing out this U-joint to be able to press on this plate to press it back on, this is the original chromoly U-joint that came with the drive shaft. Well, I damaged the needle bearings pushing it back in. One of them popped out of alignment when I was sticking in there. Didn't realize it kept on forcing it and damaged the needle bearings. And in exchange, actually damaged the cap and lost the boot somehow. So I just went ahead and bought a different drive shaft U-joint for it from the auto part house. Well, me being the silly guy that I am, I didn't realize that their U-joint had a grease cert fitting for right here on the cap because it wasn't in the box. Normally, where that hole's at, if there's going to be a cap like that, it's going to have a grease cert fitting after you do it. You put the grease cert in there. Kind of like these right here. That's what these are. You put those in after you press them in. But the crazy thing is, the one that I got from AutoZone didn't have one. So I asked for a sealed U-joint, so I assumed it was a sealed U-joint. There was no grease fittings on there, so I didn't even think to double check or even look to see if there's a hole in the cap. In exchange, water's gotten in there while I've been off-roading, and now, if y'all can see how poorly damaged, how the condition that's in. And it's been sounding like crickets when I drive. When I get about 30, 40 miles per hour in a steady drive, if I let it off, there's a shudder. I give it gas, and when I'm driving steady, sounds like crickets. Go ahead, sneeze, let it out. So I was assuming it was the front drive shaft because I was like, man, this isn't even that old. It can't be the rear. But I totally forgot about this back U-joint. So when I got underneath there just to do the front drive shaft and rebuild it with the kit that I showed earlier, turns out it's this. This is a culprit. So I'm going to just replace this one to go for a drive. And if it fixes the problem, I'm just going to put these up for another day because I'm not going to mess with that front drive shaft until I absolutely have to because it's still in good working order. The U-joints still look great. There's no play, there's no slop, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. And I'm just thankful that this didn't break on me when I was commuting back and forth to work. So let me get this out of here and let me get this. I'm going to try to put this one back in. I'm going to see if I can use one of these caps for one of these guys because these are OEM. So I'm going to see, and this is supposed to be chromoly. This is supposed to be much heavier gauge steel. So I'm going to see if I can put this one in with these caps and see if I can get away with that. All right, let's see if I can. Let's see what happens if I pull this cap off here. Fit. Yes. Yes, it does. It's crazy though. This one looks beefier to me than this one does. Maybe it's because the caps are still on there, but maybe not. But I'm going to use this one because I know this one is a high tensile strength chromoly. Because these are, I think these are 760s, and these are only 153, 153. I think these are 760 or something like that. I can't remember, but I know it's a heavier carbon or alloy steel and everything. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that instead. I'm going to use these. Just do the old switcheroo. I'm gonna see if I can pack this full of grease first too. And I actually need to go get some grease. So this might be to be continued for the moment. All right, let me get these out. Okay, so my grease tube is out of grease to the point where it can't pump grease anymore, but there's still some grease in the tube. So instead of having to stop to go to the store, which would take way more time than this, I'm just going to pack this by hand and get all the grease I can in there until it's coming out the other end. Now, for those of you who don't know, these U-joints are hollow in the middle, and they are packed with grease, so that way, as they're rotating, grease is able to come out and continuously grease the bearings over time. And I pushed all the grease out because somehow I had a needle in there from whenever I damaged it, the cap, from trying to do this last time. Guys, I'm not perfect and I don't claim to be some master mechanic technician. I hate doing U-joints. It's not my forte. I absolutely despise them. But I have the ability to do them to an extent, so I do them. But I absolutely despise it. So it's like one of my weaknesses. And look, you can see the grease coming out that end now. So that's packed. So, oh look, cool. All three sides. Just kept packing in there. Now it's all through there. So now whenever we go for a drive, that grease is going to sling outwards. And I didn't have to go to the store to get a new grease tube, which I need to, so I can keep up with my regularly scheduled maintenance. I need to get a needle greaser. They have these grease needles on Amazon I ordered. They won't be here till next month. But it's an 18 gauge hypodermic needle that has a grease cert on the end of it. You put on the end of your gun, and you can shoot it into joints on sealed U-joints, and you can also shoot it into sealed bearings. You can stab through and shoot it in there. You can put it in CV boots and drive shaft boots and all kinds of things. And I actually ordered some, and it's only like $11 for them. I think it's going to be a good investment. So I'm going to share the wealth with this one, this grease, and put this on the other ones here too. Put these, I guess I'm gonna wait to put the caps on. All right, let's get this out. Let me get my snap ring pliers. What to do with these? I'll take it to with the screwdriver method. It's gonna come right out. Maybe. Easier than others, right? Okay. Now let's get this guy out of here. That's healthy. I wonder where my noise is coming from. I have no clue. This may not have been the problem after all. Glad I didn't ignore it. I know we're going to be trailering the Jeep to Missouri. but still they'll just suck the brake on the trail. We need to get a new one of these too. Well, I do believe I found my culprit. I'm so happy this didn't break. It's a flat spot on it too. I'm so thankful this didn't break on me. And that's my thing too. I can never tell, like ever. Like, is that good? I don't know. That's why I hate doing U-joints, because these right here are all like, oh, look how loose they are, but they're also like kind of broken in. So it should be. I don't know if I should bang this back out of the way just a little bit. That's Hey, look at that. All right. I said, man, y'all can leave all the hateful comments y'all want in the comment sections. I don't care. I don't like doing U-joints. I've never liked doing U-joints. But I will continue to do U-joints as I need to do U-joints. Eventually, with enough time and experience with anything else in life, you will become good at doing that item or that particular task that you absolutely hate doing. That is what I'm doing. And that's how I press bearings in that work. Not always, but sometimes. I don't have a press. That's good right there. This is a little stiff, but it might center itself out as it's driving. Who knows? Again, I'm not a U-joint professional. I just know the concept of them and the way they work. There's some people that are out there that can tell you the nitty-gritty about every tiny little thing. I can't. Wish I could, but I'm not that guy.
Okay, so this is the Ford 8.8. It has this flange here for their drive shafts. So I went to East Coast Gear and I bought this flange here that goes on the drive shaft like you guys saw me doing earlier. And then this right here just goes on here and it bolts up like this. And it makes it really convenient whenever you have to do this type of stuff to pull your drive shaft because of how simple this design is. So instead of having to get underneath here and fight with those little U bolts and then like, you know, those little C-clip things that you put on there, and you have to have the cap in there, and then you have to put that on there, and then you have to hold it all up and fight those in there. Sometimes they go in super easy, and other times I've fought with them. You never have that issue with this. This is so convenient and everything. And then I just realized I shot almost all my grease out the back of my drive shaft by doing this, because I collapsed my drive shaft, so a lot of my grease came out. But there still should be plenty in there, to be honest. I think I overfilled it actually last time I greased it. But it'll be okay. And then on this Rough Country CV style drive shaft, they'd have their little things built in. So you don't have to fight with those little clips either on the front end. They're built into it, so that way it's just like that back there on the 8.8. This makes it really convenient. So, all right, let me get this thing in and we'll take it for a drive and let's see what it does. Well, it seems to fix the crickets. So I wish I would have got a video of it earlier when we were driving. And right now at the speed we're driving, at the holding it steady, it'd be sounding like crickets outside your window at nighttime. It was horrible sounding. And no noise at all. I let off the gas, no vibration. Put on the gas, no vibration. So to eliminate the vibration when going into the accelerator, letting off the accelerator, and then the crickets chirping whenever I'm driving. Those needle bearings are dust, non-existent. So I am glad it wasn't the front drive shaft, because that's definitely a lot more work to pull off, because I had to take the transmission skid pan down. I mean, you don't have to. There's an access hole. It's just easier to do it that way. Thankful I didn't have to at this point in time. So now we're gonna head to Walmart, get some oil and do the oil change, but I'm sure you guys don't care to see that. And also to eliminate the hopping, there's a hopping. I'm sure it was the U-joint that was going around and was hopping, and it eliminated that as well too. So, but okay guys, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and until next time.